Welcome to Daily Plunge. We are going through the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 11, verses 23 through 31. Now, the author has been talking about the cloud of witnesses of people of faith who have gone before us, and now he's turned to Moses. And what's interesting is that Moses is the giver of the law, right? But that's not how the author talks about Moses. He keeps talking about how he is a man who goes by faith, right? And he begins with even before he's, right after he's born. By faith, Moses' parents decided not to obey the order of the Pharaoh, not to murder their son, to abandon him, but instead preserved him because of by faith in the Lord. And I want you to think about that a lot more deeply, about how they protected this baby to obey what God called them to, not what this world called them to, right? And then he goes on to talk about how by faith Moses, when he grew up, he exchanged the honor and the privilege and the prestige that he had being part of the royal household, Pharaoh's daughter's son, and exchanged that to be identified with the people of God who were slaves. And so it's not by the law, it's not by order or structure or glory, but instead he's working by faith. He's not following the model of the works of the law, but it is rather by faith that he embraces the risk, the disgrace, the mistreatment, as the author talks about. He refused this earthly royalty to be an important, honored man, and instead shared the ill treatment of God's people, despised the splendor that he was going through, and abandoned the fleeting pleasures of this world. He looked away from the fleeting pleasures of this world, the rewards that were visible, for an unseen eternal reward, an unseen eternal splendor. And all of this, he says, by faith, that he regarded the disgrace for the sake of Christ as a greater value than the treasures of Egypt. And in a sense, he's saying that he embraced the cross of Christ for the promise that Christ gives through the cross, rather than the promises that are visible of this world. And by faith, he said no to Pharaoh and said yes to an unseen God, a hidden God, right? And so it talks about how he kept the Passover and trusted in the sprinkling of blood to protect him from death. And so too, we exchange the splendor of this world to trust in the promise of God, and to trust that by sprinkling of the blood of Christ, that we will be protected by faith, from the brokenness of this world. Well, thanks, my friends. Have a blessed day.